Got a brew day going on today, and I got a late start today because it was nice and chilly this morning. Our first really big frost here in Mayberry, so I waited till about 9 or 10 to get started, just so it'd warm up just a tad. My old bones don't like the cold, but heck, I have brewed in 20 some degrees, 19 actually below in the teens. But anyway, thought I'd brew a. It was supposed to be like an arrogant bastard clone, and I know there's several recipes out there, and I know the Can You Brew It folks there at uh, the Brewing Network uh, have tried it, and they've changed the recipe 2 or 3 times. But I had just bought some stuff to throw together just to get something close. I'm sure it won't be cloned or whatever, but hopefully it'll be good. But it's just, and I was out of 2 row. Well, I wasn't out, but I didn't have enough to do the entire grain bill. So I think I needed like 14. This is a 5 gallon batch. I needed like 14. I think it was 10 and a half. I'm looking at my sheet here. 12 or 13, 14 pounds of 2 row. And I only had like 10.5 pounds. So I put in like a pound of Pilsner malt and a pound of Maris Otter to make it up. So, and it's got like Crystal 80, Crystal 40, Crystal 10, and chocolate malt, and Crystal 150. Did I say that? Yeah. And some people use just Special B and nothing else. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. It's all Chinook for the hops, and it's a 90-minute boil. I hit my numbers really well. Actually, my pre-boil gravity, I got like 75%, I think. I always shoot for 70, but it's a 90-minute boil. I started out with 7.5 gallons and shooting for 5.5, since I'm trying to bump up another half gallon on everything, since I'm doing the Whirlpool now, and got my pickup tube over to the side a little bit, so I lose like a half a gallon. But basically, I wasn't going to video any of the brew day today because, it's same old. But I don't think I have showed you my Whirlpool setup since I've started using it. So I have it rigged up right now, and I'll show you when I get it going here in a little bit. But I got about half an hour left in the boil, and you can see I'm going out from the boil kettle to the end of the March pump, and then from on the outside I've got just this piece right here onto the Whirlpool arm that I got from More Beer, and works really well. I've used it a few times, and I know using a kegel, I've read and done a little research, and when you whirlpool with a kegel, since it's got the bowl bottom, it's not a flat bottom like normal kettles, you really can't get a good cone from what I've read. And I do get a lot of stuff in the center, and I get a little bit of a cone, but not a lot, and that's because of that. So there really is nothing I can do about it other than, well, there ain't nothing I can do about it unless I figure out a way to get a flat bottom in that thing, which I'm not going to do, or get a kettle, which I'm probably not going to do. But still, I think the Whirlpool helps the utilization of the hops, especially for the late additions, and so I've read and heard. But anyway, basically with like 15 minutes left, I'll drop my immersion chiller in there to sanitize, and with about 5 minutes left in the boil, I'll go ahead and turn my pump on and let it start recirculating, and that'll sanitize everything at the pump and the hoses and all that. And then I'll show you when all this happens, but that Whirlpool arm it'll sit down right inside the immersion chiller here. I'll just kind of set it right over top here, and it'll go down and hook to kind of lay up against that right there to keep pressure on it. And I got my little system rigged up to where I can clamp it to the top after I take the immersion chiller out, after it's cooled down, and I want to do another little 5 or 10 minutes on the Whirlpool to get everything in motion after I take my immersion chiller out. And I got me a little clamp to rig up. You can see how I got the old immersion chiller sitting down in the bowl, and the top part of it there that's not in there, I've sanitized it with sanitizer before I put it in. So, and here's the Whirlpool arm. I hope you can see this while all this steam going on, but basically I just kind of set it down in there, and it goes behind that one piece of tubing going down in there. I believe I'm fogging up. Get on this side. Maybe you can see it a little bit, but it just kind of sits there. And here in a little bit, I'll take my immersion chiller out after everything gets cooled down. I'll get it in the 60s today easy, probably in about 10 to 15 minutes, especially with the Whirlpool going on. And then after I take it out, I'll take my Whirlpool arm and clamp it to this little C-clamp that I've got. If I can quit fogging up here. This little C-clamp that I got fastened to the side of it, and that'll allow me to clamp the immersion chiller arm, or the Whirlpool arm I should say, to that clamp and keep it straight up and down. So I'll show you that here in a minute when I get to it. About 4 or 5 minutes left here in the boil, and then I'll shut her down and do my flame out additions. And I've already started my pump here. I'll let it run for about 5. I'll actually it'll keep running from now on, but go ahead and started about with 5 minutes left in the boil, and I close my valve down just a little bit to make sure the pump can keep up and not get any caveat going on. And I do that to, like I say, to sanitize the pump and the hoses and everything. So there's boiling Wort going through that right now, and coming out of the boil kettle and up to the Whirlpool arm, and it's recirculating everything. And so, like I say, here in just 3 or 4 minutes, I'll shut the heat off and put in my flame out additions and flame out. Got the flame off and got the flame out of hop additions in there. And since the steam's not as bad right now, I'm gonna try to show you this, and hopefully it won't steam up too bad. But I'll pull my little Whirlpool out and show you. I'll have to actually take that and wash the hops that kind of foamed up on the immersion chiller there, and get them back down into the Whirlpool. And I'll let that recirculate there for just a few minutes. Not a few minutes, but about, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, and make sure everything's chugging along good and the heat is doing its thing. And then I'll turn the cold water on, and like I say, it'll take about 10 to 15 minutes, and it'll be down below 80 anyway, and then it won't take much longer to get it down to 60. But I'll time it today just to see. Haven't done it in a while, but there you go. I thought I'd give it a little check. See, you can see I got my lid with a notch cut out on it here to try to keep the leaves from blowing in it and the bugs from flying in it. And been chilling for about 8 minutes, and you probably can't see that. I don't know if you can or not, but in 8 minutes it's already down to 78.6 degrees. So not bad at all. Probably in about, like I say, about 15 minutes. I'll have it down to in the high 60s. So it does really well. That Whirlpool makes a big difference with that cold water kicking through there. Okay, in less than 15 minutes, like 13 minutes, I had it down to 69 degrees. So that's not bad at all. And I've already taken my immersion chiller out. I just basically turn my pump off. I don't cut it off. I shut the valve, and that way it'll allow me to push the Whirlpool arm out of the way and get the immersion chiller out. And before I clamp it down here, I'm just going to let you see how much it's putting out now. That probably a little too much. I could probably close it a little bit more, but you don't really need much movement. As long as it's moving, it'll get everything centered. I'll clamp this down, and actually I'm just going to lay it down, and forgive me for that, and then I'll clamp it down and you can see what it looks like. That's plenty to hold it right there with that C-clamp. Keep it up straight and get some movement going, and get my little lid back on there to keep the critters out and the leaves out. But what I'll do is, after just another 10 minutes of whirlpooling and get everything moving, get the cone going, I'll turn the pump off, and since the Whirlpool arm's already sanitized, I won't take it out. I'll just leave it sit there, and I'll let the Whirlpool settle for about 15 or 20 minutes, and that should bring what cone I can get out of this keggle into the center of the cold break and the hops. And then I'll basically just take that. I'll bring my fermenter bucket sanitized and ready to go out here, and I'll just take that Whirlpool arm right out of there and put it right in the bucket right out here, and then turn the pump back on and slowly pump from the keg to the fermenter. Just do it real slow so it won't pull a lot from that pickup tube from the center over to it. And yeah, after that, just pretty much be done. What I will do after that is take this hose back into inside in there. I've got a valve on my hot water side in here next to my utility sink. You can see where I got my green hose. That's the cold side, and right beside of that there's a hot side, and I'll run that out here, and I've got a somewhere don't know where, there it is. I've got another cam lock that I can put on the end of that white hose out there, and then hook that cam lock to the bottom of my pump, and I just let hot water run through there and through that, and clean it all real good, and that other hose I'll take off and clean it myself. But that way I can just run hot water through everything, and that'll be good enough cleaned until the next time I use it. As soon as, if I do it right then, not let everything get good and dry and sticky. So there you go. Hope you enjoy it. It sounded kind of like a cluster because I'm just trying to pay attention. I've never videoed this part of it. I see another spider. Hate spiders. But anyway, appreciate it. Got any questions, comments, as always, lay them on me. Later.